All right, so we covered the growth mindset, and the second thing we're going to talk about is routine. For me, routine is huge. I know that when I start getting overwhelmed, I have too many things on my plate, I got too many decisions to make, it's really easy for me to get into some of my old bad habits and just procrastinate a lot of things. But what we want to do is we want to give you new routines that will, when things get crazy, you use those routines, you leverage those, you put them into place, and that gives you the ability to move forward and be a high performer. So the first thing you have to do when it comes to high performance, the reason why structuring your day and your time is so important is because you have to realize that you now have two jobs if you're doing this. Whatever it was you're doing before, and now you're into the multifamily space, it's a lot of learning. It's not easy. You have two jobs you're dealing with. So how do you move forward with that? And the second thing, I highly, highly, highly recommend, and when I work with new students, we do a time audit. Where are you spending your time? What are you doing? What are something that you can stop doing? And what are the things you need to keep doing? So I highly recommend that you do a time audit. And then the next thing we do after that is part of the time audit is you have to learn what you can delegate. Now, many of you watching this probably don't have employees. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. Even if you don't have employees right now, I highly recommend that what you do is start making a list of all the things you could delegate, because that's really your first employee is going to be all those things that you could delegate. So you need to start making a list of all the things that you can delegate. And then, like, from a high performance routine perspective, this is where you learn to double down. These are your money producing activities. Identify where you're spending your time, what are things you can be delegating, and what are your money producing activities. So the things you're delegating you do less of, or you hire someone to do that. And then what are your money producing activities? Well, that's where you double down and you become way more efficient with your time. Do those things and you're going to increase your revenue. Like that's really at its core what we focus on with the high performance routine. So I'm going to give you a little bit of taste of that. We work on these strategies called time boxing and color coding. So if you're not familiar with time boxing, it's you take a task, any task, and you, instead of committing to just getting it done, you commit to getting it done in a specific period of time. So maybe that's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, but you commit to getting something done in a very specific amount of time. And it makes you way more efficient because you take it, instead of saying, well, I'm just going to work on it till I'm done, you say, I only have 4 hours and I've got to get this thing done. So right there, you become much more efficient. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in a moment. But so you're going to time box everything, and then you're going to color code it. And here's the color codes I highly recommend you use. And I just say stick to these 4. Don't use any others. It's really easy to, say, oh, I want to add, whatever other colors, but I've done it and you get overwhelmed with too many colors. So just keep it simple. So your first color is green. Green is your money producing activities. We were just talking about that. Blue, this is something that leads to a money producing activity. These might be, scheduling social media posts. They might be hosting and facilitating webinars. It might be building lead magnets. It might be going through listings on apartments.com and looking for brokers. So they support what you're doing. They might not directly tie into a money producing activity immediately, but they lead you to a money producing activity. Orange. So this is anything for personal growth, mental health, physical health. I truly believe that if you're going to be a high performer, you have to focus on yourself a lot, and you make sure that not only are you physically healthy, but you're mentally healthy. So I always schedule time on my calendar for myself, to take care of myself. Because if I'm healthy physically and mentally, then it means the other things I'm doing, I can do at a higher level. And then last is also one we just mentioned, was the red color, which is to delegate. So let's look at an example of what that might look like. So what you can see here is I've taken a day and I've broken it out by color, and I've actually ordered it by color as well. So what I'll do is I'll start my day with some exercise, and that's to get my energy levels up. And I also know that for me, I'm most productive and I'm most fresh in the morning. So if I can start my day with some exercise, and then maybe I would have a client call, that's a money producing activity. From there, I'm going to go into underwriting a deal. It's an important thing. It might not directly lead to producing money. And I've got that. And then I'm going to go into creating a pitch deck, another, potential to produce money activity. For lunch, I always schedule time to eat. I don't miss lunches, and I like to eat and do a little bit of exercise. Nothing crazy. I just like to go for a walk, because after I eat lunch, sometimes I get tired. So if I eat and go for a walk, it gets my energy back up. Then I'm going to go back into hopefully a blue or green activity. And on this one, I got part 2 of creating my pitch deck, and that's going to be the rough draft. And then at the very end of my day, you'll see I have something in red, and this is respond to emails. 2 reasons. One is you can probably hire someone and they can probably do a lot of the email triage for you. And number 2 is I try to put emails at the end of my day for the most part, because if I open up emails at the beginning of the day, now all of a sudden I am responding to other people, what they want me to do, and whatever I have in my schedule, I might all of a sudden have to move around. So if I put email at the end of the day, yeah, they might wait a little bit longer, but the reality of it is I maintain control of my day, because then I can get to the end of my day, look at my emails, and then plan my next day. So that is a quick view into how you can time box, and you can use color coding on your day. And what that would end up looking like is something like this. Now, this is just an example that I put together, but you can see here I'm using multiple colors on my calendar. I always am trying to do color coding to the point where when I'm talking to someone and they want to schedule something, I think to myself, what color is that going to be? And where am I going to put that in my day so that I can maximize my efficiency? So that right there is the framework for routine.